Our daughter Katie was killed by a drunk driver on October 29th, 1999. She had just celebrated her 13th birthday. Nurturing, kind, sincere, genuine, overachiever, and just compassionate and just a wonderful person. Even at such a young age, she was just somebody that was always there and dependable, reliable, and caring. She probably feels worse than our family feels about what happened, because she was the type of person that would not want to see us going through this. And I would hope that the way that we've handled this, the way that we've become involved in trying to make people aware of what we've gone through, in hope that it somehow will prevent others from having to go through this. I hope that she is as proud of us as we definitely were of her. And we can only hope. The day that Katie was born, September 10th, it was a beautiful, summery day, and I remember getting a call from Meg saying that I needed to meet her at the hospital, and it was our first child. We went to the hospital, and it was perfect timing. It was in between shifts, so we had 2 nursing staffs, all by ourselves with a lot. And it was funny because we totally ignored Meg during the whole process, because they found out I was an attorney, and they kept asking me about these depositions that they were going to go. And so I think Meg felt a little left out, but after Katie was born, it was a true blessing. Changed our lives forever. One of my favorite memories was when our son Kyle was born, and we brought him home from the hospital, and Katie thought that she was in charge from the beginning. She was only about 3 or 4 years old at the time, and he was laying on a blanket on the floor, and she was playing with him, and she looked at Meg and said, "Mom, I have to go to the bathroom. Will you keep an eye on Kyle for me?" And it never changed after that. She was always that way throughout her entire 13 years, nurturing, always worried about us and her brother more than we ever, worried about sometimes than him. And I always thought and joked that, she was the parent and we were her children, because that's the way she always was, very nurturing. Katie and I enjoyed basketball. I was her coach. And so it was the first time she started playing sports, and I remember it was in the intramural league at the time, and our team didn't win a lot of games. So one day we finally won a game, and I think Katie scored the winning basket, and we were so excited we ran home to tell Meg, and I walked through the door, and Meg says, "Where's Kyle?" I had forgotten our son. I forgot to pick him up after because we were so excited, and I remember just before Katie was killed, she was looking forward. It was the first time she was going to actually be able to play on the school team, because she was going to be at their appropriate grade level. And I know she was writing after she was killed. We found where she was writing in a book on the calendar how excited she was to be able to play basketball. And we really enjoyed the basketball together. It was a really fun time and an opportunity for us to get close, doing something that we both loved. As a dad, and particularly with Katie, I mean, I was always proud of her, but But I think, I think she was in 2nd or 3rd grade, and she came home from school and she was really upset. And she explained to us about how she had been sitting, having lunch with some other fellow students, and other students came up and started giving her a hard time because it's like, why are you sitting with them? They weren't the most popular kids. And, Katie didn't care. And so she came home and she said, I just don't understand why everybody can't get along. Why can't we all be friends? And she really carried that through all 13 years of her life. I mean, even a month before she died, Meg went into her room and kissed her goodnight that night. And she said, Mom, we have a new student who just moved here from China, and she's in a high math class. And I think she's having, some problems, but I don't think it's the math. I think it might be a language barrier. So I think I'm going to ask the teacher if I can help her and work with her. And Meg said, she kissed her goodnight, and she said, that's not, the normal response, from young adults. It's, usually they're worried about themselves, not their classmates. But Katie was always like that throughout her entire life. She always tried to be the bridge that brought all the different types of kids together, always tried to include everybody, and always went out of her way to try to help others and have them feel, like they belonged. This is going to sound odd, but I think the best part of being Katie's dad was living in her world and learning from her every day. She introduced us to so many different things, and being our first child, as a young parent, you don't know what to expect. You think it's going to be the other way around, that you're going to, shape this child, and you're going to, develop and teach her. But she was so insightful and had so much wisdom that every day was a learning experience for us. Meg and I would look at each other and just kind of shake our head, like, where did she come from? And, that's how I remember her, is, that just that every day was something new and exciting, and just opened up our eyes to different things. And we were truly blessed to have her, especially as our first child. That was our first introduction to being parents, and it was couldn't have asked for any better experience as new parents. If I could give any advice to dads, I would say just cherish every moment. You're always going to be tired. It's easy to be distracted. There's always going to be opportunities to have excuses, but do whatever you can to be in the moment, to attend every game, every match, every competition, every event that you can, because you can never get that time back. You never know when it's going to end. And as in our case, it ended way too soon. We thought we had a lot more days ahead of us, a lot more opportunities to experience things together, and that never happened. So be there as much as you can. Thank you for blessing us for 13 great years, living a lifetime together in those 13 years, doing so many things, including us, always wanting us to be involved, us always wanting to be involved. And I would tell her how proud I was of the person that she was. Even at 13 years of age, she was a wonderful person and somebody that we were really blessed not only to know, but to be able to call her our daughter.